Welcome to We Day Han Su Up, The Great Minds. I'm James Cameron, and I'm a filmmaker and I'm an explorer. Avatar was written because at the time I was the chairman of the board and founder of a company called Digital Domain with my founding partner Stan Winston, who is a creature and character creator, did Jurassic Park and Terminator and all that sort of thing. And we saw that the future was CG, or CGI, computer-generated animation for character creation. We saw, this was in 1992, we saw that was the future. So we founded a company called Digital Domain to literally kind of go to the next evolutionary stage of CG. And in 1994, 1995, I wanted to write something that would challenge that team of brainiacs at that company to push it all to the next level. And so in that particular case, I actually wrote a story called Avatar that was there specifically to push the effects, to push us all to a new level of capability in the visual effects world. But I still knew that it has to be a good story first. So, I completely forgot about how we were going to do it, and I just started writing characters in a world, using my imagination, using imagery from dreams, from when I was in college, when I was 19 years old, had dreams of bioluminescent forests and flying lizards and things like that. It all wound up in that story. So even though the purpose was to push the envelope of technology, I was just free-flowing from the subconscious, telling a story, things that meant something to me. I was passionate about the environment, still am. I was concerned about, indigenous communities that were being destroyed by the advance of civilization, all those things. I got all the thematic stuff in it that I wanted to say. I got all the emotional stuff in it that I wanted to say. But the original provocation was, I need to write a story that takes place in a world that can only be done with CG. So it kind of doesn't matter where you start. The key to it is where you wind up with an emotional, relatable story. And, Avatar did very well, obviously, but what's interesting about it is it did very well in every culture that it went into around the world. Whether it was China, whether it was Japan, whether it was France, Germany, England, South America, it didn't matter. Because there were universal aspects of human issues, human concern, the human disconnect from nature that we all feel, that there's something missing, our human resonating with these characters that are in love and up against impossible odds, all those things. So the storytelling always must be the most important thing. Well, and everybody's sufficiently motivated challenging. Some of them had never even worked on a piloted submersible. I love it when I can make people cry. I know that sounds bad. I don't want to make my children cry. No, but I love it if I can guide a human experience for 2 or 2.5 hours, in the case of Titanic, 3 hours, and create an emotional response amongst the great majority of the audience. Now, people that do comedy, they know they get immediate feedback. The joke works or it doesn't. The audience is laughing. I don't get that experience too often. I've got a few good laughs in some of my movies that are highly situational. When Bill Paxton says, it's game over, man, in Aliens, people laugh. They're laughing for a reason. They're getting a release. They're getting a feeling of release from a 25-minute sequence of incredible tension. So that laugh is vastly magnified just by the situation. It's not innately that funny. But I don't do comedy. But if I can have people respond emotionally to a scenario, a made-up scenario, made-up people, actors saying they're somebody they're not, just up there bald-faced lying, that's what we do. We make up stories. It's all bullshit, but it's divine at the same time because it touches us and we can relate to it. And it's almost like, I call it the emotional dipstick. You go to your engine and you check your oil level. When you go to a movie, you check your emotion level. It's like, yep, still there. I still feel it. And so you go to a movie theater and you have an emotional response to a movie and everybody else is having the same damn response. Like, okay, well, I belong. I'm part of the human race. I'm okay. And I think we all need that. And that gives me great pleasure after the fact in a movie theater, that I've put on a good show, I've taken people by the hand, I've taken them down a path. One of the things I'm proudest of looking back, yes, we expected people to cry. Romeo and Juliet on the Titanic. If you're not crying, then I've failed. But would I have failed making Terminator 2 if you didn't cry for the Terminator? No, big loud action movie, lots of suspense and lots of stunts. It probably would have been considered a success. I set myself the challenge. I'm gonna take the baddest ass automaton assassin, soulless machine, and you're gonna cry at the end when he sacrifices himself. And if I can do that, I can prove to myself that you can do anything in cinema. So as a filmmaker, the prime duty is telling a story that looks like it might be interesting based on external cues to the audience.